Oh, well, my name's Fox9, so they can name it Fox. And if you guys have been on my channel for the past year or so, you may have seen that I've uploaded a couple episodes of D&D sessions that I've done with my friends called Broken D&D, which I actually need to upload other sessions from that game now that I think about it. But right now I want to talk about and try a new style for another D&D session I'm currently running known as another D&D story I'm currently running known as Kingdom Hearts: The World Time Kept, which, if you can't tell from the title, is based off the Kingdom Hearts series. Also, if you've been following my channel, you know I'm constantly messing up recordings and lose footage, as I did for the first session of this D&D game. But since I remember mostly what happened, I'm going to do a new style, recalling this stuff, taking also a bit of inspiration from Dingo Doodles, as well as overly sarcastic productions, miscellaneous myths. Done by Red. Also, I do like Blues history summarized also and all that stuff, but myths and gods always appeal to me, and I highly recommend these YouTubers because they're just awesome. All three of them. Technically two, because two channels, but in any case. Here's a quick summary of the first session of Kingdom Hearts, or at least part one of that. So to start off, our story follows 6 heroes of light. Furia, the male Gerudo artificier. Odorai, the Saiyan sorcerer. Noon, the fallen human gravity shifter, with her cosmic kitty Fifi. Golar, the half-elf cleric. Yeah, I don't know why I jumped on that. Golar, the half-elf cleric. Seth, the human Grim Reaper. And Xander, the human paladin. I think he's human. He kind of wears a lot of armor. Can't see his face, so you're not entirely sure. In any case, also, if you can tell from the first 3 characters as well as number 5, this, of course, is a homebrew campaign. I've seen before that people will sometimes use the idea of Kingdom Hearts being a crossover series to add different non-Disney / Square Enix properties to their stories. But with this story itself, I've tried to keep it within the wheelhouse of an actual Kingdom Hearts game. So even though one of our party is a Saiyan, don't expect us going to Namek anytime soon. I actually found a way to work in a backstory for why there is a Saiyan, as well as a couple of these other characters who are Disney Square Enix properties. So be on the lookout for that, hopefully in the upcoming videos. On top of just the base classes that we all have, we also have on top of that the Keyblade Master class, which, gives us our Keyblade. Though we each have a Keyblade of our own design. Though, 3 out of the 6 of us have Keyblades from the actual games. But I had a whole thing with that, but that's beside the point. Any case, out of the 6 of these guys, right now, 4 of them are really who we need to focus on. 2 of them came later on in the session, which we'll bring them up when they come up. Our story begins with a cute scene reading. I just noticed here that I actually read cute instead of cutscene. Then again, I'm pretty sure people ship these 2 characters anyway. 2 boys sit across from each other. A chessboard between them as they sit out on... God, I hate my writing. Sit out in front of a large window in a white and gold room. The white-haired boy moves a black piece as he asks, "Have you heard of the story of the Lost Masters?" "I'm familiar with it," the black-haired boy said across from him as he moved his own piece, a sly smile coming across his face. "Then have you heard the story behind the no-named Keyblade?" the silver-haired boy asked as he looked up from the chessboard to an empty mantle that hung above the 2. Then cut to Noon, Furia, Odorai, and Golar falling in a world of darkness as a stained glass floor shines below them. The group slowly descending onto the platform as a voice is heard. "You have been chosen. The darkness consumed the light and the sky. The worlds raged, the oceans cried. You have been chosen to start another story. A reverse tale. Darkness rising, memories lost, road to dawn cast in twilight. Your departures begin. No one will live. Save the worlds. Fulfill the oath." Your usual cryptic shtick. With that, our 4 main characters get a choice between 3 weapons. One they keep, one they give up, and one that apparently hangs in limbo for all eternity. The items they get actually give them stat boosts, while the other items they lost will have, some kind of consequence explained later with, some kind of penalty. But after that, our heroes progress as multiple other stained platforms appear before them, each one containing a child who asks them a question. Also, though, before we got to speak with said children, Furio got swept away by the darkness. Ooh. Actually, this player had to go do something, but it worked out since I was able to make a story reason why he disappeared. In any case, our heroes continue on their little jaunt between these stained glass platforms, fighting a few Heartless here or there, 2 of them with their Keyblades, but Noon wielding the sword she picked up from earlier since, unlike everyone else, She didn't start out with a Keyblade, or have a backstory where she was trained by a Keyblade master who mysteriously died. In any case, back to the aforementioned kids. The first one the group met was a young red-headed girl wearing a white and purple dress, asking the question, "What are you afraid of?" After they answered, they moved on to the second platform where there was a silver-haired boy with a yellow shirt with blue trim, and who asked them, "What do you wish for?" The group answers this as well.
Also, just so I can bring this up, out of everything that's happened so far, Noon is actually the only one who questions any of this, thus gaining her the title of the voice of reason in this group.
Though Odorai the Saiyan just explains that they might as well do it, since it seems like this is the only way to get out of this world or this place, which Noon agrees with. As the group comes to the seemingly last platform to find a young, spiky, brown-haired boy in a white shirt looking off into the darkness as he asks, "If you had to make a sacrifice, what would it be?" But before the group could answer this question, the stained glass floor shatters as they plummet down into the darkness. Though, unlike their descent earlier, gravity actually wants to work, and Golar almost became stained glass pizza until Noon shifts her gravity and Odorai uses his flying to grab the old half-elf and fly him down to the stained glass ground. Though upon landing on said ground, our heroes immediately notice that their shadows aren't their shadows anymore. Odorai's shadow taking on the shape of Unversed, more specifically a flood. Golar's shadow actually taking on the shape of a dusk nobody, while Noon's resembles that of a shadow heartless. Though they can't notice this for long or ponder it before their shadows are then whisked Though they notice this, they can't, dwell on this for long before the shadows are then whisked away and then fly to the center of the much larger stained glass floor. Though they can't notice this for long before Though they can't ponder this for long before the shadows actually leave them and whisk themselves away to the center of this stained glass floor, where they then met up with three other shadows. Really? The shadows then met up with three other shadows and begin to twist and turn and warp as they begin to form and change to a much larger shadow that begins to emerge from the ground. The creature having large blue legs with an unversed symbol on its right thigh, a completely black muscular chest with a large heart-shaped hole going completely through it, a large blue scarf with a badge shaped like a nobody symbol holding the scarf together, arms created of hundreds of thousands of little black boxes with red circuitry on them, and the creature's head covered in a white hood with a blue heart and a crown emblazed on top of it. This, my friends, is Black Mirror. Which, side note, both Darkseid and Twilight Thorn, aka Twilight Zone in Japanese translation, both named after sci-fi/horror anthology series, which is a cool little Kingdom Hearts trivia if you think about it. In any case, thus begins a large, epic battle between the Saiyan Sorcerer Keyblade Wielder, half-elf Cleric Keyblade Wielder, and Gravity Shifter with a Disney sword against a large, giant amalgamation monster fight. Yeah. Though I won't describe the fight in length, I will say there was a lot of Noon and Golar flying straight through the massive creature's heart-shaped hole in his chest. The dice rolls were not with us that day.
Actually, the only one doing any damage to this thing was actually Odorai with his Ki Blast, just blowing this thing away with it.
Eventually, Black Mirror got fed up with our shenanigans as he decided to screw this and smash the stained glass floor beneath us. We all tried to do saving throws to get out of it, but the power of darkness was too great as we were all pulled into the darkness and the world went black. And we'll end this video here. It's technically not the end of the first session, but it's a good enough ending spot for now. Next time we'll be heading to Midnight Town, meeting a certain King of Kings who may or may not have inspired Riku's look in Kingdom Hearts 3. See you later. I have an idea for a recipe.
Last time on Kingdom Hearts, the world time kept. 4 out of the 6 of our heroes enter the Station of Awakening. An ominous prophecy was then... God damn it! Really? An ominous prophecy was then given to them before one of them was pulled into the darkness. Our remaining heroes were then questioned by 3 strange children before being flung into a massive battle against a popular Netflix series, before they themselves were dragged into the darkness. What will become of Noon, Golar, and Odorai? What happened to Furia? And will Seth and Xander ever enter the story? How about you give me the length of this video to tell ya? We open up this time on Furia as he stands in a similar yet different world of darkness. The stained glass floor depicting a somewhat different picture than before, though within the darkness a familiar face looked back at Furia. A more regal-looking Furia, minus the mechanical left hand that resembles the Infinity Gauntlet. The familiar figure refers to himself as the Dark Lord, the King of Thieves, the Great King of Evil. This evil figure stating that he is the true darkness within Furia, and that eventually the Keyblade wielder will become this entity of malice very soon. Not only this, but that somehow outside of Furia's heart, someone will give him a gift that will seal this fate. Just then the male Grudo felt a burning sensation upon his neck. Then, using his Keyblade as a mirror, he saw as the symbol of what resembled an eye is burned into his neck before the stained glass floor starts to become engulfed in darkness, swallowing Furia whole as the shadowy figure laughs maniacally. We'll then actually cut over to Seth and Xander, who, because of their late arrival to the session, actually had to get a shorter, abridged version of Noon, Odorai, and Golar's Dives of the Heart. The two of them staying on one platform, choosing their weapons, and the three children appearing before them all at once, each asking their questions in the same order as before. Though, I will say that Seth was going to actually try and talk to the brown-haired boy. However, Fate, aka the DM, had a different plan in mind, as before either of them could answer the brown-haired boy's question, each of them were grabbed by a piece of black mirror and were pulled back into the darkness. I'm starting to see a theme here. In any case, we cut back to Furia waking up on a roof as a dark corridor just so happens to close beside him, and a large eternal night sky looms above him. Though what really catches his attention is the burning sensation still on his neck, and the sound of Noon, Odorai, and Golar down at ground level, as the three all seem to be dropped off in this new world. Noon also coming out of the Station Awakening, now being able to summon her own Keyblade. The Kingdom Key T, the Kingdom Seeker. I do apologize, this is probably the most fanficky thing in this campaign, but let's just forget the name and let's move along. This would usually be the time the theme song of this world would appear in Kingdom Hearts games, as the title card Midnight Town would appear in front of everything. After Noon had to walk vertically up a building to help Furia down, the group heard a call of distress before seeing a young Sasuke Uchiha-looking child running away from a group of Shadow Heartless. Our group of heroes easily dispatched these enemies, and also proving Golar can sometimes have the worst roles possible, as he nearly kills the young boy. Though as the Heartless were dispatched, that's when two more children entered onto the scene to defend the young prince, who was on the verge of tears. After being convinced that these group of giant Keyblade-wielding weirdos weren't trying to kill the young boy, the three introduced themselves as Noctis, Gladio, and Ignis, though apparently looking at Furia's green complexion seemed to give Ignis the idea for a recipe, which Furia wasn't too happy about. Though scared of the wrath of Furia, however, Ignis decided that perhaps this group of heroes may want to talk with the king, who would definitely want to, talk to the one who saved his son, giving the group a Midnight Town royal badge and inviting them to the castle before leaving. The group not really having anything better to do, and Odorai actually being someone who's lived in Midnight Town, decided that they would head over to the castle. Decided that they would head over to the castle. Though before they could leave the entry district of Midnight Town, a strange man of little consequence, and with a very nice hat, appears behind the group, telling them, or more warning them, that they might want to steer clear of the castle if they know what's good for them. The group, not taking the man of little consequence's warnings, head off in the direction of the boys to the Fountain District, unaware of the black-coated figures watching the group. In said fountain district is actually where Seth finds himself sitting upon a fountain in the middle of this part of the town. The fountain adorned with the gods or celestials of Shiva, Leviathan, the Titan, Bahamut on top, and that old one that I keep missing his name. Running, I can't remember. I really should look it up. Though the Grim Reaper quickly notices the 4 other Keyblade wielders who entered the district, and who were told to stop loitering in front of the inn by a young Lady Luna Freya. Seth then decides to stalk the group, and I do mean stalk, instead of introducing himself as the group of now 5, headed toward the arena district. But before they could enter said district, our hero saw a young chubby-looking boy who was looking through the doorways that separates the 2 districts. When the group asked what the boy was doing, the boy said that his name was Prompto, and that he was following Prince Noctis. Mostly because he wanted to be the prince's friend, but felt that Noct wouldn't want to be friends with a big-boned, unpopular child. Warning! I even said during the session that I somehow made this an after-school Kingdom Hearts special. I know it sounds cheesy, but again, just roll with it, please. Odorai told the kid that he shouldn't need to worry about stuff like that. And if he wants to be friends with Noctis, he should just go up to him and ask. Even saying that since we were heading to the castle anyways, that we would introduce him. Prompto, though a bit nervous, said he would agree and wait by the gates that separated the arena district from the castle district, and headed off. Also, just remember all these things about Odorai real quick, alright? Because out of everyone in this group, I think he's the only character that has the alignment of good, other than maybe Noon. And that's mostly because she's a glorified NPC. She's kind of the standard good. Maybe a little dumb, but you know. In any case, the group head into the arena district where a large, massive Colosseum stands before them. On a large screen showing 2 gladiators that are ready to fight. One being a large, armored Heartless, while the other being a young, pink-haired woman with a butterfly gun blade that goes by the name of Lightning. Wait, that makes it sound like her gun is named Lightning. The girl's name is Lightning. It's Lightning Fair. Immediately, Odorai, Fury, and Golar bet most of their money on Lightning before entering to watch a fight before heading to the castle. Each getting a small ticket that they turn in later to get their winnings. When they enter the arena, however, they notice that there is a When they enter the arena, however, they notice that there was a magical barrier that separated... I'm sorry, what the fuck was that noise? When they entered the arena, however, they noticed that there was a magical barrier that separated the audience from the battles that took place within the center of the arena. Furia then getting a bright idea to test the... God damn it! Shut up! Furia, then getting the bright idea to test this barrier's strength, pulled out his crossbow and then tried to shoot the barrier. This, of course, immediately got the local authorities, i.e. the King's Glaive, ready to take down the Gerudo. But Odorai was able to make the Artificier put down the weapon before having him scare some people out of their seats so the group could sit down. And thus, our heroes watched a quick battle as Lightning Farron versus a large armored Heartless as they rushed at each other before Lightning decapitating the creature within 3 strikes. The crowd cheered as the 3 who bet some money were over ecstatic as they would be winning money. But then a dark corridor opened up in the center of the arena and dropped out our 6th hero, Xander the Paladin. Hey everyone, sorry that this episode is a little short. Some family came in this month, so I couldn't really work on it all that long, and I wanted to get this out before the end of the month. Actual full episode 3 will come out, well, obviously it'll be minus this beginning part, but the full episode 3 will come out hopefully soon, and it should be at least around 7 to 8 minutes, possibly. I'm still not entirely sure, but yeah, I'm sorry for the late thing. This is continuing right off of episode 2 when Xander appeared, so hopefully y'all enjoy this, and see ya. The announcer said, a new challenger has entered the fight. But before we could do a Super Smash Bros. Joke, everyone in the arena apparently booed because they wanted their money, specifically Furia, Odorai, and Golar. In any case, the King's Glaive then took down the magical barrier and rushed at Xander to get him off the Colosseum fighting floor. But both Furia and Odorai jumped into the Colosseum and rushed to Xander's aid. Odorai flashing the badge that Ignis had given him, immediately making the King's Glaive back off. This also getting us our 6th member into our group. After the group talked a bit about the Station of Awakening and the similar, events that happened between them, the 3 who bet their money decided to go grab their winnings. Both Furia and Golar turning in their tickets and getting double what they paid. But strangely enough, Odorai seemed to have lost his ticket, as a red-cloaked man came up from behind them and collected his winnings, which would have been the exact amount the Saiyan would have won, strangely. Odorai, guessing what happened, asked the ticket guy to see the last 3 tickets that were turned in. And lo and behold, the man in red turned in a ticket that would have come up right between both Furia and Golar's tickets. Odorai then went to confront the red-cloaked man, as he was then meeting up with Lightning Farron, the gladiator who they all had bet on. The group, of course, followed suit, and Furia even intimidating the red-cloaked man known as Vincent, who was then had a handle on his gun. But before a fight could break out, Lightning gave a sob story about how they only did this because the Colosseum doesn't pay them all that much money, and how her sick father needs the money to get better. I'm pretty sure everyone in the group, minus Noon, immediately yelled insight check and rolled a high enough to see that, of course, the gladiator was lying, and they demanded the money back. Lightning sighed before saying he didn't want it to come to this, as she called out for help as these group of ruffians were trying to assault her. This gaining the attention, of course, of the King's Glaive, who remembered these guys from almost shooting the magical barrier from before and running onto the Colosseum floor, and immediately go to arrest the group, telling us all to raise our hands, which we all did. However, Odorai had a plan. As he slowly reached into his vest, Odorai assuring the cops that what he had in his vest would clear all of this up, as he pulled out what Odorai's player described as a white-crowned card, somewhat similar to those found in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and immediately teleported away, leaving the 5 of us there, with the cops, alone.
Hello, well, my name's Fox, and so thank you, I'm Fox, and I hope you like the new setup. Other than me just sitting in a void. Pew, 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 pew. No, I didn't just take this sitting in a chair idea from Overly Sarcastic Productions. Kind of a mix of that and Shadiversity. But in any case, no big recap this month, but I did want to bring up one thing I missed in the recaps of Session 1. That being something Furia actually reminded me about and has made an appearance in more recent sessions. It was basically back when we all got arrested by the King's Glaive. You see, when we were put into handcuffs, Furia, having to show his dominance in this situation, used the Triforce of Power and broke his handcuffs, which almost got all of us shot. Though Furia then said that these handcuffs were crap quality and that he could make them some better ones, even giving them instructions on how to do it later. Then pretty much the events occurred as they did in my previous recaps. And I do believe he also broke the cuffs in the cell also just to make a point. Not much else to add about this. It was just want to be a quick little recap or, something you guys would all remember for later. We officially hit a year like a week or 2 ago, and it's honestly been a very fun ride. I think this, story has made me a better storyteller as well as a DM. Not to mention a better improviser, because, with this party, you gotta know how to freaking improvise. But I do want to say thank you to all of them, and I hope we can keep going. And hopefully you all will be able to stick with us and enjoy this insane adventure that's coming your way. Also, hopefully I can get more than one recap out a month. In any case, thank you for watching. Please check out all of our other videos, and we will see you.
Lightning sighed before saying he didn't want it to come to this, as she called out for help as these group of ruffians were trying to assault her. This gaining the attention, of course, of the King's Glaive, who remembered these guys from almost shooting the magical barrier from before and running onto the Colosseum floor, and immediately go to arrest the group, telling us all to raise our hands, which we all did. However, Odorai had a plan. As he slowly reached into his vest, Odorai assuring the cops that what he had in his vest would clear all of this up, as he pulled out what Odorai's player described as a white-crowned card, somewhat similar to those found in Kingdom Hearts' Chain of Memories, and immediately teleported away, leaving the 5 of us there, with the cops, alone. At the time, this dumbfounded all of us, including me, since I didn't know he had this item, being the DM. But this is also maybe one of my favorite scenes of the campaign, so it's kind of still amazing. Even greater was, Odorai took the royal badge with him too, so we couldn't even use that to get out of this situation. So the group was then arrested and led into the castle district, which also acted as the police station. A confused and terrifying Prompto seeing us as he was waiting for us to introduce him to the prince, now seeing us being led past him towards the castle district in cuffs. Though Furia did tell Prompto to go find Odorai, and Seth also accompanying him, since the entire time Seth had actually kept his distance from us and decided to follow Prompto to help find Odorai. While that was going on, the rest of our group was led to the main castle, passing large courtyard that had multiple statues of the 5 Celestials yet again, before we were then led into said castle and were taken to the elevator down to the dungeons. Noon, however, was riding alone with some of the guards, before then asking them, "Does anyone want to get out?" But before she could attack, she was immediately knocked unconscious. Cut to Prompto, who knocks on the door of Karen's Mechanics, as a blue-haired elf girl, who totally isn't the girl from Jak and Daxter, answers, and upon immediately being asked if she had seen Odorai, yells out for the Saiyan to answer the door. As Odorai answers the door, of course, Seth revealed himself from the shadows, and soon after, the cops showed up again and arrested the two, because telling a child out loud in front of the cops to go find someone they're looking for wasn't the best idea. Seth was arrested for helping Odorai escape, and the two were then escorted to the castle and thrown into a cell with the rest of us. But not before Odorai telling Karen that he'll be back soon. While in the cell, the group gave Odorai a talking to about just ditching the group. Well, everyone but Noon, who was still knocked out from the elevator ride and is now laying on the, cell bench or whatever the hell they have in there. Guess it's a cot? Furia bringing up why Odorai didn't just show the badge Ignis had given them like before. Odorai said that he didn't think it would work a second time. I told the player that it would have, since it's a royal symbol. In any case, the group stayed in this cell. Furia, however, breaking the chains of his cuff with pure strength. Though Odorai reminded him that he had a keyblade as he unlocked his own cuffs, which reminded everybody that we all literally have the master keys to everything. Though the group then started to try and figure out a plan of what they would do once they unlocked the cells and tried to escape. Luckily, before they needed to escape, however, Prompto, along with the 3 boys from before, ran up to the cell with the Kingsglaive Nyx and King Regis himself, as the king ordered for our group to be released, and apologizing for them being arrested and thanking us for saving his son from the Heartless. It seemed that Prompto had informed them of everything that we had done, as well as Ignis on that part as well. Prompto, of course, even gaining the courage to talk to Noctis to tell him about all this. We all accepted the apology, though Furious said if he wanted to, he could have busted out of that cell at any time. The king was about to welcome us as guests, before alarms started blaring. King Regis and Nyx, knowing this was a state of emergency, as the king then ordered the group to keep watch over Noctis and the others, before racing off with Nyx to go check out the situation. However, of course Noctis then disappeared, and the group was then tasked in finding him. This then was supposed to lead the group into exploring the multiple levels of the castle, as they come to the elevator and find that multiple of the other floor buttons for the castle were locked, and wouldn't be able to work until we explored a floor to find the secret switches that activated the buttons. The castle defenses would now be activated as well, as different monsters and guardians would be waiting to fight us, along with any Heartless roaming the castle. However, back to us having literally the master key of everything, Odorai merely unlocked the elevator's top floor and skipped all the other floors. However, this elevator couldn't take us to the highest floors since it didn't go that high, But Gladio was at least able to point out that Noctis probably headed to his room on the residential floor. After being led to the correct elevator and riding that elevator to said floor, the doors soon dinged. But as the doors opened, the young prince was screaming as a large, heartless Naga was chasing after him, thus throwing our heroes into combat as they sliced and diced at the giant Naga Heartless. The Naga shooting electricity back at the group and dealing some serious damage. But soon the enemy was defeated and the group stood victorious. Then the elevator started to move. The group had the kids hide in the prince's room as the Keyblade wielders readied for battle. The elevator floors dinged as they slowly slid open to reveal Noon! Because they forgot her knocked out in the cell. In any case, the team then started to search the residential floor, finding multiple chests with items in them to take on their journey, as well as finding the mysterious Zuria Report 6. They also didn't decide to loot Noctis's room because Prince Noctis was in there with his friends, which again, you should remember this for later on in this campaign. Nyx eventually showed up to watch the kids, as well as give the group a small ring known as the Ring of Lux, which would allow them to wield a piece of the power of the mysterious Crystal of Insomnia. Nyx explained that the king had headed to the throne room. Also, we had been going for about 3 hours and we wanted to wrap up the first session, so I had the group basically sprint to this room. The group hurried to the throne room, the two golem statues letting them pass when shown the ring, and let the group take another elevator upward. When they arrived on the throne room lobby, they heard the clashing of blades. But as they pushed open the doors of the throne room, on his knees was the king with a blade stabbed through his chest, as the man of little consequence stood over him with a smile. Thus ending session 1. Zuria Report number 6. Reoccurring dream. I had that dream again. It's coming more and more frequently. Keep wondering if any of this is for real or not. I hear the clash of metal. I can hear the screams and cries. I hear the earth quake with rage. I see the tears of the ocean and the light in the sky darken. Welcome back to the dingus who messed up multiple recordings of the first few sessions. Way back when it thought, it's future me's problem. Well, future me is here and god damn it, past me! You're welcome! Quick summary of what did happen last session. We walked into Arden stabbing the king. Arden summoned 3 dark sides to fight. We took way too long to fight him. Kind of showing how OP my party is, as well as, how much I had to beef up the enemies just to take them on at level 4. Arden returned, saying that he is now king of Midnight Town. Odorai, though, pointing out that's not how monarchs work, that you have to be of royal blood to be, king. But that's when Arden revealed that he himself is an ancient ancestor of Noctis, Arden supposedly being the first king of Midnight Town from ancient times, and that he will snuff out the false bloodline, aka Noctis. That's when Noctis and the crew popped in. Arden threw a sword at the young Noctis, who found his father dead. Noon jumped in the way, taking the blow, as well as being infected by the Star Scourge. Odorai threw a rock at Arden, which did 66 damage. It was pretty good. Furia grabbed Noon and rode down the side of the castle building like biker mice from Mars style. And we got chased by Doomtrain Heartless into the cathedral district of Midnight Town. Also after picking up Karen. I forgot about that. We opened on a cutscene. My fellow compatriots, everything is going as planned. Speak for yourself, Arden. I'm stuck on this godforsaken submarine being led around by some 4-eyed imbecile. Oh, come on now, Grumpy Muscles. Lighten up. Do you like screaming severed heads? Hey! Sorry, but I don't have a taste for such noise. Why, you little Judas! Gentlemen, please. Soon we'll all have what we want. Aye, but what say this plan of this would-be king act would actually work? Thank you, Phantom. Gentlemen, you all are crucial to this plan, and when we succeed, we will all gain what we want, whether it be money, world domination, an heir, or freedom. Follow me, and as prophesied, the rising darkness will be ours. After a long rest, our heroes had the cathedral district to explore, as Cole explained that the King Regis had a secret bunker somewhere in the district, only having a vague riddle on where to find it. The sanctuary of the king lies where the 14th king of Midnight Town will rest. This led to our group splitting up, Odorai taking the north to the Garden of Celestials, Furia to the south to the cathedral, and Xander and Seth went to the west to the old king's grave, while Golar hanged back, using Remove Disease to try and treat the Star Scourge within noon. In any case, let's start with Furia. As he entered the cathedral part of the cathedral district, who would have guessed they had one of these here? In said cathedral, he found rows and rows of pews, one after the other. Opposite of the entrance, he found a large statue that depicted what could possibly be an older Noctis, fighting a certain man of little consequence. Though in the pews, Furia noticed some familiar faces. Lightning and Vincent taking refuge from the Heartless outside. We see the cathedral district is one of the protected areas from the darkness, though for how long is the real question. This part is actually a bit fuzzy. From what I remember, Furia talked and had a little bit of banter with Lightning and Vincent, but didn't get Odorai's money back, while Furia says he did get Odorai's money back. I honestly can't remember, and since then we've had a better system of keeping track of money, so I apologize on that note. After which he found an inscription on the statue that read, wait, what? Sorry, I forgot that I have little things that say for insert for me to start reading shit. The statue of what could possibly be Older Noctis reading the King of Kings, while that of Arden, the Star Scourge. Also, Furia found a chest, which he then took completely, along with the item inside. The item being Insomnia Mage Robes. Basically, just think the robes that the King's Glaive wear. They're a little more flowy. Now then, let's cut to Xander and Seth. The two entered the west side of the cathedral district, where large ominous statues of Midnight Town's past kings stood. The two looked around at these statues, reading the descriptions on each one, seeing that each of them were numbered, going all the way up to the number 13, though the two quickly noticed that there was a spot for a 14th statue that was empty. Also, one of them found a chest as well with a re-equipped ring, which I don't believe they've used since, and we've been doing this campaign for about a year now. Actually, it has been a year. It was like a year like last week or so, time of me recording this, which is 9/23/2019. Now then, let's cut to Odorai. Odorai went north to the gardens, a beautiful place with amazing flowers and a large statue of a goddess. However, he wasn't the only one admiring the statue. Odorai noticed a black hooded figure standing at the other end, looking up at the statue. The figure explained that this garden was made in the honor of the goddess of light, Eos, whose statue stood before them. Also, that all light was said to originate from the goddess, and that Odorai should keep that memorized. Odorai asked the man who he was, and he introduced himself as Alexiosin, though Odorai could call him Alex, before walking back the way Odorai had come. When Odorai turned around to follow the stranger, he saw as the figure disappeared, leaving only remnants of darkness behind. Odorai also explored down one of the waterways in the garden, and found a secret underground chamber with the 6th Celestial, Ifrit, chained, with a quote that read, "Fallen from grace of the light, but will rise with the oncoming darkness." Also gaining a Ring of Fire jump that he never used. The group then reconvened in the center area, each giving a quick rundown of what they saw. The group taking a bit of interest in Seth and Xander's discovery as they returned to the west side of the district, investigating the area with the missing statue. That's when the group discovered a secret hatch with a magical barrier over it. The group pointed their keyblades at the door, unlocking it as they then ventured underneath the cathedral. As the group exited a long flight of stairs, they came upon a long hallway that had pedestals containing the ancient weapons containing the ancient weapons of past kings of Midnight Town. Cole giving them that bit of backstory. Though our party heard voices coming from deeper within, hearing two people arguing as sparks seemed to be flying from the room beyond this hallway. One of the voices saying how DW and Goslin were still out there and dealing with those monsters, while the second voice reminded the first that King Regis had wanted them to finish their project if such a scenario as what's going on above them ever happened. That way they could get off world. Fury yelled out saying he could probably help if it's tech-based, which made the two voices pipe down till they popped their heads out from the room and then introducing themselves. The first one introduced himself as Launchpad McQuack, while the second one was Giro Gearloose. This to explain how they actually came from another world on their gummy ship, known as the Dark Duckwing. Though thanks to Launchpad, it was crash-landed. But luckily, King Regis allowed them the resources, and not only that, a place to work on the ship, all in exchange for them building King Regis his very own ship, the Gummy Gallia, or the Regamia. It went back and forth between us. I think we kind of settled on the Gummy Gallia. After hearing what happened to King Regis and the now orphaned prince with them, Launchpad as well as Gearloose both decided that the party could take the Gummy Gallia, especially, to help Noctis get off world as well as the others. Fury was able to help fix both ships, though when the group decided to head out, Cole said that he and the others couldn't leave, since they needed to protect their home and that Noctis has a bit of an adventure ahead of him to become the king that this world will need. However, he did say we could take the Gummy Gallia as well as borrow the power of the past kings. Each of us allowed to take one of the royal arms, as long as we agree to return and help Noctis when the time comes to take back their home. Also, that the Ring of Lux given to them by Nyx will allow them to use the full power of their chosen royal arms by activating Armature, an ability that allows the wearer of the ring to call upon all the power of all the royal arms that the party wields all at once. And eventually we had to kind of nerf it a little bit, but, we'll talk about that when we get to it. With that, our heroes said their goodbyes and got on the Gummy Gallia and fired off into the lanes between. Though not before doing a drive-by on some Heartless. And that, my friends, is how the third session ended, and where our adventure truly begins. Also, I forgot to mention that Karen was there this whole time. We kind of forgot to put her in the episode. Also, while Furia was fixing the Gummy Gallia, he did actually find a chest that had another Zuria report. He had found Zuria report number 7, 7 lights. The 7 lights, natural cornerstones that protect our world. They come in many shapes, from princesses to worlds, and even to Keyblade wielders. When brought together, they are said to be able to do amazing things. For the world to be saved, these 7 lights must be destroyed. The danger lurks behind you. There's a stranger out to find you. Go ahead and grab onto some ducktail. Woo! Gonna do that!